last year, had 8 goals, 15 assists. He's 24 years old. There's a lot of upside. Now looking at this like it's a prove-it type deal. Out of it of baseball, the A's couldn't get their bats going yesterday. They lost 3-0. They will host the Marlins again tonight at 6:40 from the Coliseum. The Giants did not play yesterday, but they lost a half game in the wild card. 6.5 games back at the final spot. They will be in Detroit today at 4:10. At the sports desk, KCBS.
Here we go again. Another special interest ballot proposition. This time, it's Prop 27.
Prop 27 was written and funded by big out-of-state gambling corporations to allow a massive expansion of online sports gambling.
Prop 27's promoters want to turn every tablet and every laptop in California into a gambling device.
While 90% of the profits would go to the out-of-state gambling corporations.
Prop 27's promoters claim their proposal.
Are you kidding me?
Right? Just like we were told the lottery would take care of school funding in California.
The fact is, Prop 27 is just designed to benefit its corporate promoters at the expense of Californians.
Please join our broad statewide coalition, which includes more than 50 Indian tribes across California. Vote no on Proposition 27.
Stop the corporate online.
Ad paid for by Yes on 26, No on 27. Coalition for Safe Responsible Gaming, sponsored by California Indian Tribes. Committee major funding from Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria, Pechanga Bay.
Nature Valley has helped restore access to 10,000 miles of national park trails. And we're on our way to restoring even more, because every mile is a new memory. Life happens out there. Nature Valley. KCBS News Time 9:18. 6-day forecast is coming up, but first we are heading straight to your traffic center to check in with Kim Wonderly. We've got big problems in Danville. Yeah, this crash got a bit more complicated northbound on 680 at El Cerro. This report brought to you by Kirby. At first reported was blocking the second from left lane, but then it turned out there were injuries suffered in this crash, so now with emergency units on scene, the 3 left lanes are taken away. Again, this is North 680 at El Cerro. Traffic is stop and go from a little bit beyond Sycamore Valley Road, about midway between Crow Canyon and Sycamore Valley, according to the Chilton Auto-Body Collision Cam. Problems continue now with the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. There's been a crash coming toward the west end, not quite off the stand, but pointed toward the San Quentin. This crash is blocking the left lane. Traffic is backing up most of the way across the San Toll Plaza. Oddly, the toll plaza actually thinned out. That part's not a problem, but as soon as you get over the water, you're in for brake lights most of the way across the bridge, heading to Marin County. Still in the clearing stages, crashes westbound 80 at Highway 4 in Hercules. That one's been blocking the left lane. Westbound 580 at McCoy Street, well, the crash might be off to the side, but it's still producing a lot of slow traffic as you make your way up the Carson Freeway. Well, Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake and tire replacements, oil changes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com, and use code OIL50. Next update, 9:28 on the traffic radar, KCBS. 6-day forecast now. Save up to $1,000 on select adjustable mattress sets at Mancini Sleep World. Jessica Birch joins us from the KPIX 5.
Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday. San Francisco is getting up to 68 today, 74 in Oakland, 84 in San Jose. And in our inland areas, yesterday we were dealing with some high 90s, but now it's low 90s with 80s as early as tomorrow. Now we're still dealing with partly cloudy skies that'll stay dense along the coastline as we especially extend into our Wednesday forecast, but things will start clearing up and milding out as we extend into our weekend. It's a very calm week for us. Enjoy this weather while you can. It's going to start cooling off significantly just by tomorrow. So we'll keep you updated on that here. The weather's on, but for now, I'm meteorologist. Yes, KPIX 5 for slip forecast. We've got traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 1069 and AM 740 KCBS.
You saw people you haven't seen in a while.
You left places you haven't been in a while.
And you accumulated new and different junk.
You came home and you said,
Where are we going to put all this?
relax. We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
No lifting.
No carrying.
The walls.
Just a beautiful, wide open space full of happiness and sunlight.
You'll have room to roam.
To breathe again.
You've never felt so free.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19, then act fast. Authorized oral treatment that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days.
Pfizer announced it had asked the FDA to authorize its updated Omicron 19 vaccine, which is expected to be in arms in a matter of weeks. To answer your questions, we are joined live now on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Dr. Peter Chin Hong, Professor of Medicine and Associate Dean for Regional Campuses at UCSF. If you've got a question you'd like the doctor to answer, please email us at askus@kcbsradio.com. That's askus@radio.com. Thank you, Doctor, as always, for taking the time to talk to us. How long should we expect this authorization process to take?
Well, we have an updated timeline, which is the middle of September, so it shouldn't be very long. The reason why it's not long in this case is because they don't need a lot of data anymore. I think we're moving to a flu shot model where so that it's pretty much giving a signal in mice or an animal model to do big clinical trials anymore because it's the same vaccine, just a different signal. So that's why it'll be much faster.
All right, so if authorization comes in mid-September, when can we expect to get the shot?
I think as soon as, I know that they're probably being it off the time now, that it should probably be, a week or a few days after is what my prediction is. Because by the time everybody's expecting it to be authorized so that they're already starting making these vaccines.
And Moderna has an Omicron targeting.
One version will be 4 days 5 in the UK, and that happened last week. So that they're very good ways to submit their paperwork as well.
Got it. Okay, we are talking to Professor of Medicine and Associate Dean for Regional Campuses at UCSF. If you've got a question for the doctor, email us at askus@kcbsradio.com. And we're getting a lot of listener questions in, Doctor, so let's get to some of them right now. This person wants to know, and this is actually a rather common question, if there is any reason to get boosted now, assuming you're not up to date on your boosters, if these new shots will be available in about a month or so.
Well, we think that it will be available, but my thought is as follows. If you're older than 65 and not up to date on vaccines, you should definitely get your booster. If you're younger than 65 but still eligible for the booster, you could probably wait, particularly if you've had recent. Interesting that BA5 is still coming up is that 3-month rule keeps off again because BA5 is just staying. You kind of have 3 months of a force field unless there's a new variant that comes along.
Got it. You had just mentioned about the approval process and how there don't necessarily need to be big trials. And this listener has a question about how these new boosters are tested. They were wondering how.
brownies using the same components directly, the sugar, the flour, the chocolate. Maybe, but so we don't expect the body to really react in any different way. And if we waited for clinical trials, it will take too long, and that's why we haven't updated flu vaccine every year.
All right, we're getting this question is one that we get kind of a lot. It's about a large event, but I do think it's worth asking again. This listener wants to know for a new booster, or if they should get their booster because they're going to a large wedding in September, or wait until possibly afterward when the new boosters will be available.
It's another reason to get a booster shot now for strategy reasons. So if you haven't been recently infected and you're eligible for the booster, you can get the booster. Some people time it 2 weeks before an event, say like going abroad or a big wedding or going across the country. So it kind of gives you, and even though if you, even with 3 vaccines, with 1 booster, not 2, you're already well protected authorization. This will give you added protection against infection.
All right, this listener wants to know if in the future you anticipate having some kind of antibody level test or T cell test, which would determine the need for boosters, for example, maybe a saliva test.
That's a great question. I think that on a select population, we're already doing that. For example, some would get an antibody test to see if they have a response, and if not, they get the long-acting monoclonal antibodies, W shells. For the general population, I think it may settle down like a flu shot, where we wouldn't check for response, but we will try to immunize as many people as possible on an annual. Once it settles down, I'm not sure when that will happen yet. Maybe it will be next year. But I think on an individual level, people might have antibody tests available. But on a population level, it will be easier to just offer.
Got it. Okay, we are talking to Dr. Peter Chin-Hong, Professor of Medicine and Associate Dean for Regional Campuses at UCSF on today's edition of Ask an Expert. Doctor, we're going to ask you to hold on for just a moment. We need to get updated on KCBS traffic. Kim is in your local Honda dealer's traffic center. It's very busy on the roads this morning. It sure is, and it's just keep on coming. They're trying to clear this injury. Northbound on 680 right at El Cerro with emergency units on scene because of the injuries. 3 left lanes have been blocked as the traffic is backed up midway between Crow Canyon and Sycamore Valley Road. A little better news, though, regarding the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. There was a crash kind of on the San Quentin side, but still on the span. They just now cleared it to the bound 580 traffic as you approach the span. Slows at Stenmark Drive, then you're going to find some stop-and-go traffic. That's where you finally start to pick up the pace here with the Chilton Auto Body Collision Cam seeing the speeds definitely. Bay Bridge, we're still backed up into the maze, plus it's looking like there's a stall here coming out of the tunnel on the San Francisco side. I don't have lane information yet, just getting word from Caltrans that there's a disabled vehicle on the upper deck, and a new crash just coming in from Mountain View. This is northbound 101 north. Your next update is at 9:38 on the traffic leader, KCBS. Mostly sunny skies expected throughout the afternoon today. A little haze in the air with highs getting into the 60s and 70s at the beaches, into the low to mid-90s inland. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time 9:30. You are listening to Ask an Expert. And our guest today is Dr. Peter Chin-Hong, Professor of Medicine and Associate Dean for Regional Campuses at UCSF. If you've got questions, just email us at askus.com. That is askus@kcbsradio.com. Doctor, thanks again for joining us. Back into these listener questions. This listener wants to know if this booster, the Omicron specific booster, will restore the high percentage of immunity to infection that we had previously prior to the Omicron wave.
We're hoping that it gets close to restoring infection, but there's no guarantee because there may be a new variant. Of course, we have reports now of BA4.5 that's really good protection against just infection, and that will really reduce a lot of disruptions in society. I'm hoping for, that's what I'm crossing my fingers and toes for. And that's why the U.S. government really pushed for BA4 and BA5 boosters instead of BA1, which is old news, even though the companies were ready to offer that to the government, for the booster.
All right, this is a related question, which is, do we know what the current vaccines, the ones that are already out there on the market, do we know what their protection is right now, given, again, the Omicron variant?
Yeah, so it all depends on when you got the vaccine. So if you got the vaccine, actually there's some data showing that if you got the vaccine this year, you're much higher, you have higher protection than those who got the booster, say, last year. So it's that